Hello and welcome to Beautiful Minds. Today we're going to talk about the 12-year chart of Bitcoin and look at it from a macro view. And we're going to break it down into a simple and concise way that we can understand when the best times to buy and sell Bitcoin. And we're going to use a plethora of trend lines that you can see already, white and yellow, color coded. The white ones are our present areas where Bitcoin has been active and where we're interested in knowing whether or not it will reappear in these trended areas. And of course, we have the yellow colored areas, which have never been touched yet. Not that I'm suggesting that it will, however, it's possible. And we're going to look at this with our trend lines, all our mathematical indicators. We're going to use our time frames. That you're going to see is going to be very, very interesting that they reoccur, and we're going to plot them in the future and find future points. Also, we're going to use percentage levels, and you're going to find that extremely important, especially when we start talking about these bull campaigns and these bear campaigns and where they start and stop. And these percentage levels you're going to see reoccur just like our monthly time frames over and over again. And you're going to get some great knowledge from this and an understanding of when the best and most logical time to buy, the safest time. And that's what we're interested in, and that's what we're here to discuss. We're also going to use some Fibonacci circles and some cycles and stuff, and some other tools as well to help us with putting all these sequences together. And of course, we're going to discuss where the lines cross. So, confluence or a convergence. And we're going to talk about areas like this later on in the video, where we're going to discuss the possible areas where Bitcoin may visit based on what the data is suggesting. Nothing to do with any of our human foolish emotions. We're just going to use logical, mathematical, sequential solutions. We're not interested in any fluff, any sugar, missing the boat. And we're going to talk about that, missing the boat, and the reasons why I'm making this tutorial for you. And it's to get you and myself, really, an accurate and simple understanding of Bitcoin and what it is and where it's going. It's a new beast. It's an apex predator. It is the top asset. Now, let's face it. And I was just tired of the Moon Boys and Plan B and all the whales and the news telling you that, this was a time where you should buy Bitcoin. This this whole time when we made a top here in November, from there the Moon Boys, organizations like Plan B and all the whales and news outlets were telling you that Bitcoin was going to $1 million, and that every time we made a bottom, the Moon Boys were shouting so loud that you should buy and that this was the last time. Same with Plan B. And what happened? We had a very low marginal move up. Look, we didn't even come up and touch the trend line yet coming down until this late last couple months. And we were told every time on this January, February, all these March and April bottoms that this is the bottom and you'd better buy Bitcoin because you're going to get wrecked if you don't buy. And the opposite has occurred. Every time these organizations and these moon boys have told you to buy, or your friends or your colleagues told you to buy coins and they're just going to explode and buy all this stuff, be really careful. Everyone's been suckered into this, and the reason I'm creating this tutorial is to get this information to you. And I'm doing it absolutely free, and I'm getting no monetary gain from this, absolutely no kickbacks. I don't want anything from anyone. I want them to get ahead in their life and get a better understanding of what this is. So there's no sugar coated to this. And most importantly, it's my will to achieve and accumulate wealth and to help you to do that as well. So like and subscribe. And later at the end of this video and tutorial, I will be showing you all the things that I think based on what the data is suggesting. And we're going to get a great idea. And it won't matter if you're a 10-year-old or you're 100 years old. This tutorial will definitely help you to signify when the best time to buy and the best time to sell is. So let's kind of jump into this a bit more now. And I've been providing this content to you free. It's taken me 14 hours of data analysis that I've invested for myself and that I'm providing for you for free. So I'm really hopeful that you will enjoy this and get some great benefit from it. So let's take a little look in here now. We're going to make this a little smaller. We're going to get a perspective here because we want to go back to the beginning. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to our mathematical indicators. And I want to tell you that Bitcoin has only flashed 3 times in the last 12 years on all these indicators the best time to buy Bitcoin, the absolute best time to buy Bitcoin in its entirety. And if you look at our mathematical indicators here, I'm going to blow this one up and make it bigger. This is a moving average and a cross. And that's really interesting that these 2 lines cross. And we're going to talk about that too. We also have these distribution and accumulation bars here, which are a histogram of how much people are interested in buying and selling. So that's a good indicator. So we have 2 indicators in this one indicator. Then we have an RSI. And this RSI is, again, a good indicator of the relative strength of the market when people are buying and selling. And so we're going to look at all these when they do certain things. We're going to look at our median lines, where they come down to and where they touch again. And we're also going to look at when they stay below. And this one here is a stochastics. And it's based on another mathematical algorithm. And none of this data can be manipulated by me in any way. So this data is coming to you truthfully. No sugar coatings. So if we take a look at these indicators here, we're going to get a really good idea of when the best time to buy Bitcoin is. And we're going to take a look at the beginning and we're going to go all the way to the end. So I want you to sit back, relax, get settled in, and get ready to get educated about Bitcoin, because here we go. All right, folks, so here we have Bitcoin in its beginning out. We can tell that our indicators, when our indicators are all below these median lines here, it means that, we should get ready for a big possible upward trend. It's just suggesting that. Same with our accumulation and distribution histogram bars, telling us when the strength is possibly coming back. The same with our RSI. It tells us when the strength is peaked out. The same when we have our stochastic. And when we have our crossing of lines, we have an indicator. So this is a golden cross down here. So when our fast line, the blue, finally moves above the slow line, the red one, it's indicating an area where this is getting very, very bullish and you should pay attention. Now, up here where this crosses over and the fast line moves down below the slow moving indicator, this is called a death cross. And this indicates that there is some overheating and to be wary that we're going to see a possible downtrend. And the downtrend was told by our indicator here. It told us to watch out. Stuff's kind of getting crazy here. We had a big breakout, and this indicator just could not climb anymore and crossed over. And just after it crossed, we had our major blow off top, and then it came down. So that indicator would have told us when the best time to buy Bitcoin is. Well, let's take a look here at this one. So you can see that we've moved now back. Let me make this a little smaller here now. And you can see now when we have made these moves and we've gone right up, that our indicators come down and they tell us there's a bottom. Same with our RSI. Let's just take a look at this one here and see what our indicator had told us here about this. Well, it's telling us that, wow, it was really taking off. Like, look at the size of this move up. And it peaked out and made us a rollover here. And if we look at also our RSI at the same time, folks, let's take a look. We have a double confirmation here. We have a confirmation of a top in here. We have our accumulation and distribution histogram bars here telling us where people are. Are they buying still? It doesn't look like it the next month because the volume just dropped right off a cliff. We weren't able to come back up to this for quite a while. So we have one indicator, two indicators, we have a third indicator, and we have a fourth indicator. And our indicator told us ahead of time, hey guys, this is getting real hot. Watch out, we could have a bit of a rollover. And that's precisely what happened. And we had a rollover there. And subsequently, look what happened. We just came right back down and fell down. And we sat on our trend line. Look at that, folks. We just perfectly. And we did it twice, several months later. Now, when would have been the best time to buy? Well, getting close to this median line right here. We see we got a golden cross right here. This indicated that was the safest and best time to buy. Well, we did have a wick down to this channel, so we could have got wrecked on that one for sure. So we have to watch our other indicators. So RSI came up from that, and we had a wick there, and it made a bottom, and it took off. Well, we had a bit of our fast moving line here did a plateau. So it was sort of indicating that something was going on here and we should pay attention. Now let's take a look up at our MACD. Let's just see what our indicator is telling us here because, things are starting to get really heated, right? We just gained some momentum here. We had a golden cross here. The blue line crossed over the red line, said this is the safest time to buy, and you better buy. And we're going to talk about these moves up because these moves, by the way, they're all 3-month moves. All these big moves here, they're all 3-month moves. We're going to talk about these as we go forward. But our indicators right now are telling us where a top went in. So a 10-year-old could have used this data and said, hey, you know what? It's kind of suggesting things are overheating here and you guys should pay attention and maybe sell your Bitcoin or lighten up your load and just chill your jets. That'd be good advice, I would say. So what did the indicators continuously tell us? Well, we had a death cross right here and it said, you better pay attention because things are looking nasty. And look at our bars. Like we just didn't know. We burst above this in our breakout here, no problem. Got above that, started to get overheated in our 3 months, and we had a top boom and our big death cross right here. Well, what happened here? Well, our RSI came up, had our first big spike up, told us, hey, whoa, we're rolling over and getting sideways here. Better pay attention. 12-year-old would say, or a 10-year-old would say, whew, maybe time to get out of there. And sure enough, we had our death cross, and it was time to get out. And you should have got out. So let's take a look now at what happened. Well, we went on this prolonged bear market where everybody was telling you it's the bottom and it's going to go up to 10 grand. And look at it, just rolled over. We had all this big fake out right here. And if you would have paid attention, you would have seen, oh, maybe this is a good place to buy. There's a golden cross maybe happening. Oh, no, that was a fake out. Look, our distribution bars were going down. Then, oh, all of a sudden popped up, but no, fake out. Resumption of the bear market. I know you don't want to hear that, but you're going to be hearing that later on here. We're going to talk about all this stuff in the future here about what's possibly happening. Look at our RSI. Came down, said, oh, yeah, here's our little bottom. Get ready, buy up a bit. Oh, we're getting lower top than this. Lower top, indicating immense weakness. Look at here. Got our death cross, came down, had a fake out, had a golden cross, said to buy, got in, it rolled over and said, hey, death cross, time to pack up your investment, sell, and go away. Hey, that's pretty good advice. I bet you a 10-year-old could have taken a look at these 4 indicators right here and made a very good deduction on when to buy and sell Bitcoin and what the direction is. Now we're going to point out another thing. When we had our beginning time frame here, notice that our trend lines, if we go on a trajectory, they do come down and make a bottom when we have a bottom here. And this one stayed under for a significant period of time, most likely. Just like here, as I'm saying, Bitcoin has only shown 3 times in 12 years, folks, that it's been a buy. And these are the times to sell. Watch out. Like, watch out. Watch out. These are the best times to buy. Watch, right? These golden crosses. So we're going to look at this now. So let's move forward. Now that we got a better understanding of our indicators, we can now use them. So let's just move forward now. We had our big bottom. We had this big top here. You can see this big top came in here, had a 3 months, and our 10-year-old would have said, hey, sell your investment and go away. And sure enough, we came down, we touched our trend line. Look, for the 3rd time, folks, and we moved through this, and it swallowed and ate everybody wanting and wishing, and all the moon boys telling you it's going to the moon, and it just went down for months and months. And how many months? Lots of months, probably around 20, because my booklet says 12, 14, and 20. All right, there's 22 months to our bottom. Here's our typical bottom is 14 months. Same with our monthly bottoms going back on the bottom here. So we're going to take a quick look at that now that we're starting to get educated a bit about these things. So let's take a look at a percentage level, because here I said to you, okay, well, 14 months here is indicative of a change here. And I said to you as well, 20 months we had our breakout. So in 27, we have our next breakout to our top. So these monthly time frames we're going to look at moving forward here. And I wanted to point them out to you just so that you're aware of what to look forward to in the future. So let's just move ahead here and let's just take a look a little bit more at what this is going to tell us now. So we're moving forward, and our 10-year-old told us, "Hey, Pop, that's the best time to buy Bitcoin." And sure enough, our RSI indicated and told us it stayed several months in this sideways area. Same with our stochastic. It dropped below this line, and we're interested in this median line here. It has to get below this before we're interested in thinking about watching it to be a buy. Not that we're going to buy it as soon as it breaks through this. That's foolish. We're just going to stay back and we're going to watch because we want the safest time to buy. When the golden cross happens, that's what we want. We want the golden cross. We want to buy the safest time. And our 10-year-old system is going to tell us this. All right, so we rifled off of this bottom, and our stochastic got all crazy here because we were riding this channel here. And it just was not allowing us to break out. And look what our stochastic did. It did a great big V bottom here right when we had this huge breakout up out of. And this was the breakout, folks. So when I speak about a breakout, I mean this top here, this is the breakout. We are now challenging the top and saying, we're toppling you. So what happened? Well, the RSI and all our other indicators told us, holy smokes, get ready. We got some, movement happening here. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our MACD, see what it's telling us. Well, it's telling us, we had a golden cross back here, another golden cross, and we took off. Our distribution bars got very large, and if we would have just paid attention to what they are saying, we would see that we would have found the top if we would have paid attention. And our 10-year-old would have told us, hey, pay attention. Things are getting shaky. You might want to sell and go away. Well, what do you know? Our RSI told us the same thing. Might want to sell and go away. Let's just look left. Look at that. Both at these tops were equal to. So we have 1, 2, 3 indicators now telling us, look, our leading indicator, our stochastic, said just before this big top we had a death cross, warning us 3 months before. Here's our 3-month top, warning us, you'd better maybe pay attention to what a 10-year-old is telling you about these indicators, telling you to sell and go away. Well, that's precisely what happened. And our indicators told us that we are not finished. Even when we got to this line, it was telling us, oh, look, we've possibly made a bottom on our channel. And this would have been a good buying opportunity. You betcha, folks. Great buying opportunity. And it went up, and look what happened. This top arrested it. I have this trend line on here showing that, this was you're not doing anything right now. And look, we got our golden cross here indicating a big move up, and then a hook over, and then our bars made a top and did not get any larger. So our 10-year-old would have said, hey, Pops, you better watch out and sell your investment and go away. And sure enough, the RSI said the same thing. But look at our stochastic. It finally came just on time, just like this one here, right on time. And usually they've been a leading indicator and kind of gave us a 3-month lead, but this time it was right on time. And then what would have happened? That 10-year-old would have said, time to sell and go away, Nothing to be made here. Just short sell all the way down. And he would have been right, or she would have been right, regardless of what kind of kid it is. If you would have just paid attention to these indicators, you could have made a fortune. And you're going to make a fortune. You're going to be great. You're going to be really successful. You're going to be fantastic. You're doing great things. You're here today You're watching this, you're getting educated, you're doing really good things. You're going to be very successful. Just stay with us, stay tuned, stay comfortable. Let's move along and let's dissect this beast. All right, folks. So, our 10-year-old would have told us time to get out there and just kind of sit back. And sure enough, our indicators were all telling us that's exactly what we should do. We need to sell and go away and look at the volatility. It was telling us it's not safe yet. Oh, it's barely safe here. We had a bit of a fake out. We had a golden cross here saying it's a safe time to buy. And then we had our COVID crash. And you all remember what happened there. Well, look at us. We came back to the bottom part of our trend line. We sat right on it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, our 10-year-old would have said, hey, you know, had a pretty big bottom there, and these indicators they're bottoming here. They're making these big hooks, and you have a golden cross here. Safest time to buy. Look at the RSI. Said the same thing. Bottomed. Look left. We got lots of support in and around this area here. So this is a really terrific area to buy. And our 10-year-old would have said the same thing. We had a death cross here just prior, and it would have saved us knowing that this death cross happening, we would have got out of our investment and been safe and bought back just after when this golden cross occurred, which was the next subsequent month. And of course, was the safest place to buy. And our 10-year-old would have said the same thing. He would have said, hey, look, Pops, this is a good time to buy. We have a cross here, a golden cross. Our distribution bars have stopped going down and making deeper and deeper red moves. Selling is ended, Pops. Time to go up, time to buy, right? We're here because we want to be a rich dad, not a poor dad. We don't want that anymore. I'm here to help you get out of being a poor dad, just like myself. We just want to use this information to better ourselves, better our friends, our family, our colleagues, better our community. We just want to do the best thing. That's my goal. I hope that's your goal too. Okay, moving on. Our 10-year-old would have said, yep, good time to buy. Like you guys should start accumulating. And what do you know? Our asset told us, hey, we're getting strong here. We're gonna move up here. And look, we got our little hook and our fake out here. We almost had a death cross here, and we came up. And this is again, here we go, folks. We're again at our breakout point. We're re-challenging this top, and here we are. We're re-challenging this. And what happened? We got above it. And look at our stochastics, right? It told us golden cross going up. Get on board. Stochastics, or RSI, told us get on board. Time to get on board. Same with our moving average, MACD, with our histogram accumulation distribution bars. They're all telling us, hey, pay attention, time to buy. But we had a death cross here on our stochastic. So it was indicating to us, again, like when we had a breakout way back, we had this massive breakout back here, and we came up to this big peak top here. As you remember, we broke out and came up. So are these things similar? Well, history seems to repeat itself, and it's sure looking like it's rhyming. So we came off this COVID bottom, got a lot of strength, came up, we're at our breakout point. Now our 10-year-old would have said, hey, it's getting pretty crazy. We're going to break out. This thing is showing us that we could possibly see some major volatility here. And we did. This was a divergence. This oppositely moved in a correlation to our asset moving up. So we would have been like, wow, what's going on? There's something going on. And sure enough, we had a big volatility spike here. We had a golden cross. And for the next 3 months, again, that magic number, 3 months, we made a major top here. And then, well, our 10-year-old would have said, hey, uh, we've peaked out. It looks like we're going to get a death cross, and our RSI is going flat, and our distribution bars, they've they've peaked out a month beforehand, and they're getting lower. Things are changing. You better pay attention, you know. So pay attention. So yeah, let's take a look. We had this ginormous peak here. So we came up. We made our top right here, and then we had our death cross. One death cross, two death cross, lower bars, a hook and a move down on our RSI. Look left, support at these tops. We're at resistance here. Time to sell. The 10-year-old would have said, Pops, time to sell. And it would have been a terrific observation and a suggestion by the data, not by anyone else. And we moved down. So let's take a look. We're getting close to our present time now. So I'm just gonna hide this for now so you guys can see this a little better. You probably are like, oh, good, I can see so much better. Okay, so here we made our top, and we had our crossovers. Our 10-year-old would have said, get out, Pop. Where would we get in? Well, we just need to watch all our indicators here. We had our bottom, we had our golden cross right here. Right when it started getting a little bit more active, we got a lot off the floor here. We got right up. And same here. You know, all our indicators pointed to this big spike bottom. And we had this big golden cross here. Right here, our stochastics was our leading indicator that something was going to happen. Here, our RSI made our bottom and moved up and eventually peaked out at our next top, telling us, look, hey, it's getting a bit strong here. We had our golden cross here, and our 10-year-old would have said, well, time to buy. It's going up. How long? Well, got to watch our indicators. And then here we are, present time, November. This is when you were told that Bitcoin's going to $1 million this year or 200,000 by the end of the year. You better buy now. This is the safest time. You'll never have a safer time. And you got wrecked. I got wrecked. And that's why I'm making this video, to educate us. And we're stopping all this. So look, we have a lower peak here. Our top here, same top level, lower. That means, and that just spells really weakness, super weak. Look at this, our RSI, lower top. What does that say? Low, very, very weak. We are very weak. Look at our stochastics, very weak. We're lower. All our indicators are lower, and we had a death cross. And look, we've just fallen off. And we're just starting to approach territory now where we should start to maybe sit back for several months. How long? Probably close to December, November, December, and January. We won't get out of this. Now, why do I say that? Look at this. We stayed in this area underneath this median line for many months, and we're just starting it. So get ready, folks, for some really ugly prices. Does that mean that we can't just go up to 100,000 right away? Well, I mean, Bitcoin is a very volatile asset. It can do anything. However, the data is suggesting that there's a lot of downside and a lot of hurting to come. So I know you didn't want to hear that. No one likes to hear things that go against what their beliefs are, that they want something to go up, they want to make $1 million, but the facts of the data are suggesting that we are about to head down and continue down. And you can see that I don't have any bars or trend lines indicative of our next upward move. Well, geez, we could go up here, but first, folks, we have to revisit this and we have to decide if we're going to stick around in these areas or if we're going to stick around and maybe revisit this area. Now, I know that's kind of painful for you to hear that Bitcoin might come back to these areas, but we have to look at this logically and we have to use the indicators. We know that we have several months to go before we get out of this, so we could certainly sit inside this and then rally up, use this as resistance, support, come down, bounce down, come up in, sit up on top, and ride this down and maybe sit here. It's possible. Anything's possible. It's just a suggestion. When we look at trend lines, when we go down, you know, they tend to go with the asset, so we need to be thinking about that. So let's go take a look at some tools now for our far out possible time frames and where we think maybe we could be with price targets. So we have some confluence here, folks. Here at 33,000, we have some crossing. We have a lot of confluence here at 17, 18, and 19,000. We also have another load of confluence here at 12,000, which is one of my major targets. We also have a low here on these. Now, I have a lower target in one of my writings about an $8,000 Bitcoin. Is it going to go there? Not necessarily. Let's just look at the indicators and let's just see what they're all going to say, because we need to know what they're going to say. So we're going to take a look at another indicator here. And I just use all the data points. I don't do anything that's funny or suspicious. You can see that my data points are always at the points where it is. That's where it is. That's where it is. That's where it is. So from this point, it looks like this Nivera bat pattern is telling us that we could possibly come back and suggesting 12,000. Is it possible? It's possible. Is it going to happen? Not necessarily. Okay, so let's just move on here now. I'm going to keep that indicator there. We're just going to have a look at a few more just so that we can see, okay, maybe there's a reason for something else. So we have a lot of crossing of these circles now here. So it's starting to get a little busy. Please don't get confused by all this. I'll remove some of them as we go on. But here we have a major circle here, this ring right here, which has arrested Bitcoin and kept it. These rings are important areas of where we can expect resistance or resistance. So let's just move on. Let's have a look at another one. Let's see what the next suggestion is. So this ring here is showing us very much that it held the wick. It held our bottoms here. It held our covide bottom right inside the target of our bullseye of our Fibonacci circle sequence. And you can see we came up and we sat on this ring, retesting this top, and then we gained support. We muscled up to our old top, looking left, We got some support here, and once we sat on this ring, we got some major support, and we moved to the next ring, and to the dollar we stopped in April. And in November of this last year, we were held back by this ring. And so this ring is very powerful. It's still holding us. 42,000 is definitely an area that looks like, I don't see that we have to get above that and sit on this before I'm bullish. And we have to get above this and sit on this before I'm bullish. So you'll never hear me talk about Bitcoin being bullish until we get above these levels and sit on them. Just like when we break out. I'm not a bull here or here. I'm a bull here, right here, when the indicators tell us when a 10-year-old can figure out the best time. That's what we're doing. So where are we looking for our next support? Well, look, we have a lot of support here, right where our Nivera bat pattern. We have a trend line here. We have another trend line. We have a lot of confluence here. It's possible. Doesn't mean it has to do that. We're just looking at this from a logical standpoint using tools, mathematical, not any moon boys or your barber telling you that to buy. So we have some more confluence here. Look at our circles are confluing here. We have a great amount of 8,000, 9,000. It's not looking super hot. Let's have a look at our last Fibonacci sequence. All right, folks. You can see Bitcoin was really getting a lot of resistance here. It's just being held and made some support on this lower ring here. We just sort of pierced it a bit. Got above, got some more support. And look, we came up to this ring, got some support again, and then we rocketed up past up to here, and look at our next ring, lo and behold, to the dollar, folks. Just like our other ring caught this one, here's our confluence. We caught this. This top right here was caught. It was totally caught. Where are we going? Well, this ring is coming down, and this is our support now, or resistance, sorry. And notice it crosses our yellow trend line from the top. So this area, if we can't get above this 42, 43 area, as I discussed a minute or two ago, we're dead ducks. It's looking terrible. So look at the ring. The ring is coming down. We have a confluence point down here of June 23, down here at 7 and 8,000. These are low areas, and just points to suggest that the data is suggesting this is doing this, not me. I'm just trying to keep you from making a bad investment, just like myself. So where's our next top? Well, geez, from here, let's just say, 340,000 on these and 250 are all legitimate numbers, 100,000 and whatnot, So I think that not till probably 2024, we're going to have our next top or next breakout. You heard it here first on Beautiful Mind. Nobody is suggesting this data to you anywhere. They're trying to get you to buy Bitcoin. They're trying to get you to buy all their coins, buy all their investments. They're not hatching. They're all dying. Be careful. Be very careful. Be logical. Just be very chill, because we have regulations coming up, and we have a lot of darkness on the horizon. So pay attention to this. I hope you liked this tutorial. Please stay around, like and subscribe, share the content with your friends and your colleagues, and wishing you a good day. Thank you for joining me on Beautiful Mind.